Now the year was 1930, and a new decade began. Turkey and France were finally both happy with their recent compromise that relieved tensions with a border that finally respected both ethnic and geographic distinctions, at least in Turkey's eyes. Meanwhile, further clarifications on the Sanjak's official status needed to be made. In 1930, the High Commissioner issued Decree No. 3112, containing the organic regulation for the Sanjak, as the beneficiary of a long period of administrative continuity after the war. As High Commissioner Ponsat stated in 1930, "I wish to remind you that the Sanjak of Alexandretta is neither a state nor a government, but a Syrian province enjoying certain privileges, the existence of which can in no way be considered as prejudicial to the unity of Syria. Since the first days of the occupation in 1919, Alexandretta has enjoyed the special regime, which includes the management of an autonomous budget and certain local administrative privileges." Turkey just kept waiting until the right moment for this special arrangement of a semi-independent state with its own privileges to become too sure of itself, and then to welcome it into its own fold. Over the next several years, the young and the old within the Sanjak's Turkish community became deeply divided over ideologies on its future. Conservatives and radicals clashed on whether to remain a province of Syria or to become a Turkish province, introducing a new debate in an already politically complex environment. Within the Turcophone community, conservatives remained hostile to Kemalist innovation and universally supported the maintenance of the Sanjak's administrative autonomy within the Syrian state. Progressives in that community split into two camps, independent Kemalists and irredentist Kemalists. The former, mostly artisans and Sanjak-educated students, believed that independence from Syria and linkage to the High Commissariat, that is, the 1926 separatist plan, would be sufficient. The latter, primarily Anatolian-trained intellectuals, demanded Alexandretta's annexation into the Turkish Republic. This severely threatened France's relatively stable control of the Sanjak because the French considered the Sanjak to be the most successful territory of all of its mandatory territories. Additionally, international attention and interest, especially from President Mustafa Kemal Ataturk of Turkey, in the Sanjak made a quick and easy resolution to its internal troubles impossible. Kemalist policy took advantage of the Sanjak's weak economic situation to drive a wedge between ethnic groups already grappling with complex intramural divisions. Therefore, Turkey's well-known desires to envelop the Sanjak as one of its own provinces just added fuel to the fire. Events that would later come to tear the Sanjak apart started to heat up in the mid-1930s. In April of 1934, the governor of Gaziantep, a Turkish province near the border, visited, sparking ethnic tensions as never before seen in the Sanjak. After more visits from French and Turkish officials later that spring, there was a boycott. For the next 2 years, the issue of the Sanjak's formal status, whether it would be autonomous, independent, or annexed, consumed officials and locals in the broader region. When Turkey inquired further into the Sanjak's official status, it changed to 3 ideological camps: those who wanted to maintain the status quo, those who wanted to officially join Syria, and those who wanted to officially join Turkey. However, things did not go Turkey's way immediately. In early September of 1936, France and Syria made a treaty of friendship, promising Syria full independence by 1939. What did this mean for the Sanjak? Would the French forsake the Sanjak too? Would the territory officially rejoin Syria, or would it gain its own independence and sovereignty? Most Turkish radicals viewed this as a threatening drift towards a closer relationship between the Sanjak and Syria, not between the Sanjak and Turkey as they had hoped. Later that month, at a League of Nations session in Geneva, the Turkish foreign minister railed against the recent French-Syrian treaty and voiced his concerns on the Sanjak. 2 weeks later, the French representative officially rejected all Turkish claims on behalf of the Sanjak's Turcophone community and refused to revise the provisions of the treaty. Unable to make desired progress through the League of Nations and international diplomatic channels, Turkey then began interfering directly with the Sanjak. On the 29th of October, young Antioch Turks demonstrated in celebration of Turkish Independence Day, and on the 1st of November, Kemal Ataturk underscored the significance of the Alexandretta question in a speech to the Turkish parliament. Yet by late 1936, Turkey's bad luck in achieving its fantasy, incorporating the Sanjak as a Turkish province, was changing. The old debate between conservatism and radicalism prevented the building of a coalition that could successfully combat Turkey from reclaiming the Sanjak as its own. The old elites accepted the beguiling arguments of Ankaran propagandists that Turkey was only interested in the welfare of local Turks and had no territorial ambitions of its own, because they wanted to believe them. Turkey had the support of many in the Sanjak's Turkish population, which would help to turn the tide of Turkey's bad luck in its ambitions. Another circumstance helped turn the tide as well. On 14th of December 1936, the League of Nations accepted Turkey's request for debate on the Alexandretta issue, and a new era in the Sanjak's history was opened. Even though Turkey's initiations of conversations about the Sanjak at the international level had failed in the past, external international factors would soon work in Turkey's favor.